But I want to get to CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang, who's live for us at the White House. Weijia, do we have any response yet from President Trump or any members of the White House there?
Liz, we just got our first statement from the White House. It is from the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, and it really stresses what this administration wants to focus on right now. And that is the message that this was a unilateral attack, that the U.S. was not part of this Israeli military operation. It's a relatively short statement, Liz, and because we just got it, I do want to read it for our viewers with us tonight. It says, from the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, tonight Israel took unilateral action against Iran. We are not involved in strikes against Iran, and our top priority is protecting American forces in the region. Israel advised us that they believe this action was necessary for its self-defense. President Trump and the administration have taken all necessary steps to protect our forces and remain in close contact with our regional partners. Let me be clear, Iran should not target U.S. interests or personnel. Now, just today, Liz, the president said he did not want to use the word imminent when asked how soon Israel could launch an attack on Iran, but he said it's certainly something that could happen. We also know that the administration yesterday sent urgent messages for American personnel in the region to evacuate. So, clearly the president was ahead of this. We don't know exactly how much he was briefed and how much he got a heads up before tonight's attack happened. We haven't heard directly from him since the attack, Liz, but even today, as he was talking about the real possibility that something, in his words, could happen, he was still expressing optimism that there could be a deal with Iran. Now, how realistic that is, we have to see. But as of tonight, that meeting for a sixth round of talks between this administration and Tehran to reach some sort of a nuclear agreement is still on the books. We wait now to hear from President Trump, but certainly, again, just to recap what we've heard so far from the White House, they want to make clear the U.S. was not involved in this, and they have a stark warning for Iran tonight not to target any U.S. forces or facilities, because obviously that would change the calculation of U.S. involvement. Liz?
Yes, and Weijia, thank you so much. And we want to reiterate there's going to be a cabinet meeting tomorrow at the White House with apparently the entire cabinet will be there. And I'm curious what big decisions the U.S. officials are facing right now, given the negotiations that are going on with Iran and the relationship with Israel.
Well, I think the president made pretty clear today that at this point the ball is in Iran's court. He said he, is hoping that Iran is willing to give things up that, as of right now, they don't want to give up. And it is very likely he's talking about Iran's level of enrichment of uranium, which is required to produce nuclear power, but also a nuclear weapon. And so I think they are closely monitoring how Iran is going to respond to this. But it's also notable that they have made abundantly clear that they do not want a part in this direct conflict between Israel and Iran. They are just monitoring to see if Iran, impacts any Americans and U.S. facilities in the region. And so you're right that he is convening a cabinet meeting for tomorrow morning, although we should mention that was already planned before this strike happened. But obviously this will drive the conversation as he meets with his top advisors.
And any idea, Weijia, and I know this is all very fresh, but any idea if he has a plan to talk with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu about the events that just unfolded?
We don't have any indication yet. Today he was asked what information the Israelis has shared with him about a potential strike. And he said they haven't shared anything, but he also painted a very realistic picture that, something may develop. He did not skirt around that. He did not, avoid talking about it, but he didn't offer any specificity in terms of a timeline or any conversations that he has had directly with Prime Minister Netanyahu. And so, I'm sorry, I'm just reading some notes just in case we are getting new information from the White House. And so at this point, we don't know what conversations are going to happen, but certainly that is a critical one. It does sound like this administration got some kind of a heads up or a warning that Israel was going to do this tonight, based on that statement from Rubio.
All right, Weijia Jiang live for us at the White House. Thanks so much for that update.